It's July the 14th, 2016. This is 508, a show about Worcester. We're at the former Boys and Girls Club on Ionic Avenue, which is now being turned into the Worcester Creative Hub by Stacy Lord and today's guest, Laura Murata. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good, good. I'm Mike Benedetti. Brendan Melican can't be on the show today. He has to go to the doctors. So we're here on Ionic Avenue, which is on Main Street south of Chandler Street. Compare Foods is down there. Coney Island is over there. So now you know where it is. Laura, can we go inside and look at this building?
Absolutely.
Talk about this project?
Let's go have a look.
All right.
Come on in.
All right.
And we'll lock the door behind us.
Welcome to Creative Hub Worcester.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So here we are in the partially renovated first floor space.
Uh-huh.
This is as far as the property owners have gotten with us thus far in order to have our open house and sort of help people visualize what Creative Hub Worcester is going to be.
So let me ask you a few questions before we wander around a little bit more. Who is behind this and what is the project about?
So there's a lot of people behind this, which is really, really great.
Mm-hmm.
Stacy and I met about 10 months ago, and we started developing a business plan for a community arts center here in Worcester.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Arts Center sort of evolved into being connected with the city. Erin Williams over at the Cultural Council, and Peter Dunn and Paul Morano at the Economic Development Office. And a lot of them got really excited about what we were doing and sort of got behind us in our efforts. And then we were lucky enough for them to connect us to Peter Heaney, who is the building owner of this building.
Okay.
So he bought this building from the city. And his original plan was to turn it into self-storage.
Okay.
So that was something that a lot of people in the city and a lot of people who had come here sort of as kids, you know, didn't really want to see because it wasn't really an active use of the space.
Right, and this is like this is an interesting location. We're not too far from downtown. There's super amounts of hustle and bustle on Main Street here.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So Peter really loved our idea to sort of turn this building into a thriving arts center, and we started going from there. So he has helped us in the construction so far. The building was in pretty bad disrepair in terms of sort of the roof leaking and lots of things going on. It's been vacant since the early 2000s.
Oh wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. So it was pretty interesting. You'll see when we walk through the building some of the very raw kind of spaces that are hopefully going to be built out very soon.
Sure. Well, let's walk around a little bit, and then I'll ask you more about what the overall plan is.
Okay, sounds
So
good.
this is you said this is sort of semi-renovated, totally renovated?
This is not 100% renovated. As you can see, there's sort of still this kind of subfloor here and wiring and things. There needs to be new electrical, HVAC, plumbing put in the building. The building needs pretty much new everything.
Okay.
So it's a really big undertaking, but again, we were looking for a space this size in order to accommodate all the different kinds of arts and cultural, creative things that we're hoping to have going in here.
All right. And so this has really good views too, huh?
Yes, and we are only on the first floor.
You know, this is something, the other day I was over at Technocopia in the printers building, which is, can I even see it from here? I'm totally confused. It's right over there.
Yes, it is. Yep.
And oh man, like their space looks like sort of rough and raw, but their views are amazing.
Yeah.
It's so great.
There's this guy Armstrong who came over from Pittsfield in the early 1900s, and he had this vision to build this giant boys club because he thought that was one of the most important things for boys back then, to sort of learn how to play chess and swim and box and all those things that they did here. And especially around here, there was a place for boys who didn't have any other place to go and sort of be part of a community. So he built this center specifically up on this hill. And you can see it sort of from the Pike and from a lot of different areas in Worcester, and it's got this really, really great prominent spot in the city.
It does, it sure does.
Yeah.
So a space like this space, you said that you got this ready because you recently had an open house and were showing people around.
Yes.
So what kind of stuff do you imagine happening in this space?
So we have our floor plan sort of over by the hallway over there that say, give a little more detail about what the spaces are going to be. And this space, right over here, and this space is going to be a visual arts maker space. So one of the things in the city's creative space survey that artists said was they were looking for sort of affordable and accessible opportunities for them to come in and make art. So we're hoping to, yep, this would be that space that we're in right there.
You come in off the street and here you are.
So this would be, we're calling this a visual arts maker space. A lot of the time with the term maker space, you tend to think about tech and things like that.
Right.
But we're hoping to provide printing presses, silk screening, kilns, drawing surfaces, painting.
So a similar idea of a maker space is being you've got a bunch of equipment around, just more traditional equipment.
Yes, and people pay a monthly membership fee that is sort of very affordable and accessible in order to come and use the space. And they can also collaborate with other artists who are working there.
This is great information. I never saw any of this. So the spaces,
Sorry.
So the proposed rent on these spaces these studio spaces is something like $300-400.
Yes, there's also studios on the second floor that start at $200, and those are interior spaces. So we'll see those when we go upstairs. And as you can see here, we actually have almost 10 or 11 studios pre-rented already.
And some of these studios are like 100 square feet. Some of them are like 200 square feet.
Yeah, we really all the way up to 300, and there's 300 square feet, and then there's a really giant space on the second floor.
That will cost you $2,000 a month.
Yes, and what we're really looking for right now is what the people in the city need. So we had a dance studio come in last week and tour the space, and they're really interested in being a part of this. And the reason that it's called Creative Hub is because we don't want to sort of discourage any kind of creative entities from wanting to be a part of this community space here.
So not just visual artists, but also performing artists.
Right,
or
performing
anybody
artists, dance. I don't sort of mean to lead this and control what we're going to next, but it's kind of a nice segue into the old gymnasium, which is going to be a multi-purpose event space as well as a gallery. So when we're talking about performances, you can imagine this sort of really, really incredible 4,000 square foot unique space here.
So this would not be subdivided.
This would not be subdivided.
And it has this great like second story, I don't even know what you call this, track?
It was a track. It was, believe it or not, it was a running track. And when we go up there, you'll see how crazy that I can't imagine people running on it.
Are you gonna leave that there?
We're gonna leave that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so we're gonna level out the second floor, and if you can imagine sort of like a music event or dance performance event, you can be standing up here and watching what's going on top of the wall. Also, on the walls, we want to have artwork and a place for the visual artists to display their stuff inside the community space as well.
Are you going to redo the floor, or are there still going to be this great
we're
boys
talking
club?
about that. We asked, like, can you please save the logo because it's so beautiful. The floor is in really, really bad disrepair, so we're hoping that he can at least save that little cutout right there.
Yeah. So this is like all like actual like old basketball, but you can see there's like stuff where stuff is falling off the floor. Huh. This is really cool. There's not a swimming pool. Is there an old swimming pool in here?
There is an old swimming pool. It's in the basement. If you like some really creepy footage, we can head down there as well.
All right. Whenever we're done. Whenever we're done with all this, we can go down there.
Okay,
It seems too dangerous.
So, want to head up to the second floor?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so this building is technically 40,000 square feet. There's 30,000 square feet of usable space in here. It's a really, really giant building. It actually ended up being the largest boys club in the nation. So one of the reasons that they built the other one that's here in Worcester is to accommodate the overflow of boys that came from this one.
Oh, okay. There's just too many kids in on this.
Yeah, but it was a really positive thing for the community.
So, and this is nice. This is where the spaces are going to be, where it's marked off here.
Yeah, so we have the taped off studio spaces, and as you can see, there's some names here of artists who have pre-rented a space.
Oh, that's great.
If I can sort of make a plug for a minute, what we're looking to do right now is fill up the rest of the studio spaces here, and all it requires is 1 month security deposit. So
this is actually a good time for me to ask you about the overall organizational situation here. So there's this organization, Creative Hub Worcester.
Yes.
And this is you and Stacy.
Yes, it is.
And then there is a man who owns this building.
Yes.
And what is the connection there?
Yeah, so Aaron Williams from the Cultural Council connected the two of us. Peter Heaney is a person who owns a construction company called Onsite Carpentry. He's sort of from the Boston area, so this is his first Worcester building purchase, which is really exciting. So he's had a lot of great experiences here, and the city's hoping he'll come back and sort of do more renovations. He's going to be the property owner, and we are going to lease the entire property from him.
Okay.
And sort of rent out all of the different spaces.
And you all are some sort of corporation, nonprofit?
We are a nonprofit. So right now we are a fiscally sponsored nonprofit, which means that Fractured Atlas is a national organization that sponsors small nonprofits while they're starting up.
Right.
So we can take tax-deductible donations right now.
Through that organization?
Through Fractured Atlas, and we are in process of applying for our own 501c3.
Okay, so the idea is that you all will be managing the space?
Yes.
Is what you would call it? Developing the space?
Yep.
And so artists would rent from you, and you would be, you're like subletting? I mean, you're not, subletting would be the wrong way to describe this, I think.
It's a good way to think about it.
Okay.
That's what makes sense. I mean, it's not, it's a good way to describe it.
All right, so like Creative Hub is going to rent the building,
Right.
and the owner is going to be like fantastic, and then the artists you're going to figure out whatever with the artists to make sure
Yes.
that rent gets paid.
Yeah, and me specifically, I'm going to be the first person to be the property manager of the space.
Oh, good job.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
I just relocated from the North Shore. Stacy and I are both educators, so she teaches at Worcester East Middle, and it made sense for me to hop on over to this pretty much full time.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I want to look at more of these views.
Yes, taking the views.
I don't know why I'm so interested in downtown Worcester views, but they're pretty good.
Oh, wait till I get to the rooftop.
I feel like people watching this on YouTube or on TV are just going to be like, this looks like downtown Worcester. But when you're here in person, it looks kind of good.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
Like really good. I
Yeah.
love it. Wait till you see the rooftop. Like you look at it and you're like, oh, this is Worcester.
So people who are renting on this side are even going to have a little window in there.
Yes, so the rent is a little bit higher for these spaces because you do have the giant windows, the natural light, and the views. And yeah, we have a lot of studios pre-rented, and we're guaranteeing. I know it's kind of amazing. We're guaranteeing build out to be within a year's time.
Oh, that was another question I was going to ask you.
Yes.
Let's keep looking around
Sure,
whatever's
we can
next.
just get a really quick view of this track here because it's pretty cool to see it from up top. If you can see how crazy sort of this floor is, all we could think of is roller derby. We're looking at it, it's like, how do people run on this slope? But we have had people in here touring the building who came here as young boys, and they were like, oh yeah, we ran on this track. And
You know, they have the same kind of thing at the Y over there, and I don't think I've ever seen it anywhere else other than this building in the Y. It must be an older thing.
Yeah, it must be. I can't imagine running on that, but I guess it was pretty effective.
Do you have any? So you're going to preserve this?
Yes.
Do you have any idea of what it's going to be besides just an amazing architectural quirk?
You mean this part right here, the whole gymnasium?
The track.
The track, I think, will just be sort of an upstairs part of the event venue. So hopefully it'll be a 2-floor thing where, say, you're having a music concert down there, you can have your guests be standing up here and, I don't know, having a glass of wine and looking down and watching the performances. It just makes sense to save it because it's so beautiful.
It is amazing. Yeah, I know that sometimes these things, like just like the logo on the floor, sometimes these things are just not practical to rehab. So
I think the logo is going to be the tough one. A lot of these things are very practical. The way that this building is built, as you can see, it's all steel beams. The property owner says you could land a building on an airplane on the top of this building.
Okay.
And it was just built so amazingly that even though the things like electrical and plumbing are in disrepair, the bones of the building are incredible.
Oh, that's good.
Incredibly strong.
That's good.
Yep.
All right. What's next?
Okay. So we can really quickly see this beautiful large room that we were looking at in the floor plans. Here we can go pop straight through here. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Don't be afraid to push. That's really beautiful art ceiling here.
Oh, the lighting here is
Yeah, the
terrific.
lighting is really beautiful.
Time of the year.
Parker being up on the hill here.
So this is going to be one room studio. This is the big studio, Studio 2L.
This is the big studio. Yep. The price is relatively negotiable at this point because it's a really large space. So obviously you want to account for square footage.
Right.
We were hoping for a dance studio in here, but our dance studio is actually interested in the 3rd floor space. So we're really open to seeing what it is that people need.
Okay. And you said oh, there's also like these fireplaces. There's all sorts of interesting stuff in here.
Yeah, they could all be working fireplaces. They're really beautiful.
So you said that you wanted to do build out within the next year, or you guaranteed build out within the next year.
We're guaranteeing for our artists or their deposit back.
Okay.
We're in a situation right now, and I can get into this a little bit later too, where we're looking for a lot of funding to help build out the space.
Right.
It's a really big job, and with our financials as a nonprofit, we want to be able to sustain our organization.
Right.
So in order to do that, it's actually going to cost Peter Heaney about $2 million to build out the space.
Okay.
And so we are working with Mass Development and lots of other organizations to try and get what we need, but we're also taking tax-deductible donations to help with the capital for this project.
And you're also taking, you said, these prepaid.
Yes.
So this is this thing where you would like pay $200 to rent your studio, and then either next summer you take your studio, you occupy your studio, or next summer they get the $200 back if it doesn't work out.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. What is all this? There's just like, yeah. I never know what any of these things are. Like, what is this?
I don't know. I don't know.
Somebody can email me and tell me what that thing is.
That's a really good question.
And here's the Masons across the street.
Yeah, that's the Masonic Lodge, and I think that's one of their sort of flagship buildings, but I don't think you're supposed to know a lot about that.
Sure, yeah.
So we don't know anything about that building.
And there's this parking lot. This is one of these things where it's like, on the one hand, the parking lot is like, unfortunately a parking lot, but on the other hand, if they built a building there, you would not get the great light we're getting right now.
We're really lucky to have all these empty parking lots here, and on the other side of the building, because if they ever built anything, you wouldn't have quite as good a review.
Yeah. All right.
We're
What's
going to
next?
go back to the store because I don't know how well that normally works. You can just close that gently. So the last people who own this building, there's a big spill and all these leaks and everything. So unfortunately, there are all these beautiful floors that were just like these stairs here, and they had to pull a lot of those out because of asbestos and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
But the stairs are beautifully preserved, as you can see, all this amazing wood here. Another thing that we're really excited about is just reactivating this space to be a community space again.
Okay.
So there's a lot of people, either from historical societies or anything else, that are just so excited about having this space be an active space rather than self-storage. This building has such good energy. I don't know if you would agree, but it's kind of like you're walking through here and it's like, you just get this great, like, wow, this must have been amazing back in the day.
This is a really nice, like, I've been in a lot of old, weird, semi-crumbling buildings, and this is a nice, old, weird, semi-crumbling building. I'm really, more cool views up here.
Yep, we have great views from the other side. So these are sort of bigger spaces that we're hoping might be creative offices or something of the sort.
Yeah. Yeah, do you have, I mean, can you, like, what kinds of, for people who are watching this and who are like, I still don't know exactly what people would be renting this for, people who are not part of this arts world.
Yeah, sure.
What do you imagine goes on in these studios?
So we already have everything from painters to weavers to photographers who have rented out the space. So lots of types of visual artists are interested in having those smaller spaces, 100 square feet to 300 square feet, to just house their art supplies, and they can come in every day and work on their artwork as professional artists. Right. So either they sell their artwork or they are just emerging artists. So at Creative Hub, we wanted to have a really nice mix between emerging artists, which might, you know, the more affordable studio spaces might be helpful to them, or, you know, the artists who are well established. We have like a professional weaver. We have Jessica Walsh from Worcester Wares who's rented a studio. So those people are people who make a living off of what they do. But they're still looking for their own private space to go into and work every day and be able to make their artwork. Right.
So is this going to be, I'm trying to remember all the different things that I saw. Sorry, all the different things that I saw about this. Is this going to be, is there going to also be residential space in here, or it's just going to be work?
No, it's not going to be residential space. So the permitting for this building is not secured for residential. So it's just going to be workspace for artists. But we're really hoping to eventually have it open 24 hours because artists, you know, as you know, can have very weird type schedules. We want to accommodate that. This space we're hoping to be an indoor event space, and the reason for that is because we have a rooftop right over here through the stairway that was slated about 100 years ago to be a rooftop garden. And so
we can go up this?
We can go up to the rooftop and wait till you see these views. This is our money maker, as we say. And there is not one person that sees this rooftop that doesn't sort of gasp or say, wow, something along those lines.
Oh, this is great. Oh man, I was going to try to restrain myself, but I can't. This is terrific. This is where I want to have.
You can't help yourself.
This is where I want to live. I want to live on this rooftop. Make some sort of a little yurt or something, and just come out here every day and see this.
So this is built to be a rooftop garden, and that's why it can hold the weight of people. And that's also a big reason why a lot of businesses can't do rooftops, because the roofs weren't actually built to hold lots of people.
They're not strong enough.
Yeah, not structural at all. Peter Heaney has done so much work. He's redone the entire chimney, all the masonry all the way around. And we're hoping that this could be a cultural event space and hopefully maybe phase it into a bar, a rooftop bar.
Oh, wow.
Actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be interesting too.
Just because, you know, for a nonprofit arts organization, you need to be able to sustain your business.
Right,
And you can sort of break even with the mission of providing accessible and affordable space. And then you can, you know, help grow the economy and also help bring people in who wouldn't usually set foot in an arts community. And I think that was one
Yeah.
of my big things when we were writing the business plan is I've seen so many artist studios and maker spaces that the only people who go there are artists or people who want to buy the artwork. That's it.
Yeah.
And they still end up as this sort of insular entity in the city.
Right. It's always great to have, you know, I was just at the Sprinkler Factory the other day.
Yes.
They were doing some Shakespeare stuff, and that's a perfect example where the Sprinkler Factory has
Yep.
all these studios, but they've also always done
Yeah.
a bunch of events. So
Yep.
all kinds of, I mean, the person I went with to Shakespeare the other day had never been in the Sprinkler Factory.
Yeah, Sprinkler Factory is fantastic.
Would never have gone there but for this event.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is cool. Here it is, people. The top, you can just see, like,
This is Skyline Worcester.
yeah.
And if you can imagine having cultural events up here, having breakfast in the morning, artists working, sketching, painting.
Yeah.
It's just a really nice space. And there wouldn't be anything like it in Worcester.
So not all of this building, this back part of this building, for example, is not 3 stories.
Right, so just this part right here, it's actually technically 4 because we have a ground level basement
Okay.
that we haven't seen yet.
And this roof up here is not going to be
Nope.
any kind of bar or anything. It's just
Nope, just this space.
you know, I should ask. There's a couple questions I should ask you while we wander wherever we're going next.
Yeah.
One is, so it seems like, I mean, this is an area of town that people have talked about for a long time. Oh, wouldn't it be great to try to make this some kind of arts district? And there is Arts Worcester, which is like literally a block away.
Yes.
And there's the 9 Dot Gallery, which is not too far from here either. And now this place is opening up. Is this is intentional, or this was the best building and it just happened to be in this
in terms of
neighborhood?
proximity?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, was somebody like, you know what, you should try to open an arts thing in this particular neighborhood, or was it like this building would be the right building?
It was more like this building would be the right building,
Uh-huh.
but we had hoped to have something in this area.
Okay.
So it was really kind of serendipitous, I guess you could say. All of these different things happening and coming together. Arts Worcester is a huge supporter of the Creative Hub project, and their excitement and our excitement is sort of helping to revitalize this part of the neighborhood and pushing that urban revitalization plan a little bit past that bubble that they drew,
Yeah.
and engaging this community as well that's here.
Cool.
So I'm not sure about the basement.
Is it going to be too dangerous to it in the
Well,
basement?
it's probably just really dark, but we can.
All right, we can
Go
go.
check it
Nobody
out.
will see you. Just believe. I can turn on my flashlight. People can
Oh,
believe
yes,
we're really
flashlight.
going into a basement.
Flashlight would be great.
We're not just turning up the lights.
So this is the ground level, and it actually has the most space out of the entire building.
Okay.
Um,
This is the swimming pool.
well, hold on.
No?
We'll do the swimming pool first. This is a basketball court.
Oh, so it's some sort of
So
half.
This is the seating right here.
Okay. So it's sort of a basement. It feels like, I mean, it feels like a basement or
That's why
something.
we
this
call it ground
basketball
level
court.
because it's like it still has the windows,
Okay.
but I guess it is technically a basement.
That's so strange. What are those? And what are those? What are those little?
I guess
Divots
I
in
guess
there.
according to Peter, it's like some kind of padding or something, so that when they put the subfloor over it, it had a little bit of give when people
Oh,
were
okay.
playing basketball.
Cool. Cool.
And it helped to level the floor out. So there's lots of random little rooms in here, but I can't show you the swimming pool. We just can't go too far in. So it's kind of this funny story about how the roof was leaking all the way 4 floors down into the swimming pool. And
Yeah.
when Peter Heaney got here, it was completely full up to here with like the darkest water you've ever seen.
Oh man.
If you sort of, I don't know if your camera can catch that hole
Oh,
all
yeah.
the way over there.
Oh, in the
Towards
ceiling.
the window, but
Yeah.
that is, the roof was leaking all the way through to the. So what you're looking at up here is the bottom of the gymnasium floor. So
Okay.
this is why the gymnasium floor has to be redone.
Okay, because this is all
It has
just.
a lot of water.
Yeah, and it feels, for people who are not here in person, which is everyone watching this feels like a basement. Like down, once
Yep.
we went, every other floor felt light and airy and wonderful, and we came down here and it felt like more humid, more stuffy,
Yep.
colder. Yeah.
And this is sort of the raw space. We're talking about maybe putting a trade school down here. We need an anchor tenant for the basement that really could utilize this type of space.
A trade
so
school.
A space that is soundproof, a space that can hold a lot of weight.
Right.
Maybe it's a glass blowing studio, maybe it's anybody who's looking for this kind of space. And there are a lot of people who are out there looking for something that is sort of secure like this, I guess you would say.
Right.
There's a loading dock that's going to be put in so you can kind of wheel your stuff right in here. The amazing thing about the pool is that, I don't know if you can sort of check out this tile that is like almost completely preserved.
It looks terrific. You're not going to, I mean, you're not going to preserve this pool though, are you?
What he's planning to do is put a floor right over the pool. So in the event that you ever sort of want to reutilize it, or anybody ever wants to reutilize it, you're not taking out these tiles. Apparently tiles like this, you can't even find them anymore.
So this would be intended to be a permanent floor, but would not,
Right.
if at some point in the far future somebody was like, this is
Wanted a
amazing.
pool. Yep.
Okay. Wow.
The building owner is really amazing about wanting to sort of preserve a lot of the historical aspects of this space.
Okay.
And it's also really important to a lot of people who have toured the space. Just kind of, do you want to go to a really creepy area really quick?
Oh, yeah. We have 4 minutes left in the show, so this is it.
Well, this is like the horror movie set part.
I feel like this is going to be some found footage horror movie
Well,
where
it
it's
is.
like,
I don't know if you have a flashlight, but
I do.
you're going to need that for him. You just kind of, if you have time, you always got to show the old locker room.
My flashlight is not too bright. Let me try my phone.
Tell me if there's a light.
There is a light. Oh yeah, it totally worked.
Alright, so this is the old locker room. If you look up here, this is the old boiler right above you.
Uh-huh.
Let's say it was kind of some kind of UFO, you know,
Yeah.
kind of thing. No candy, food, or soda. Broken mirrors, lots of dirty water. If anybody is looking for a set for a horror movie, would like to contribute to our arts community cause, we will rent this out to you before it's renovated. Is your camera picking this up?
Oh yeah. This is yeah. This camera does a great job on auto adjusting levels.
And this is one of those beautiful iron staircases that goes all the way up to the gymnasium.
And is this going to stick around, do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're like, please preserve the stairway. So I think that's about it.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
For shoring the space.
This is fantastic. Thanks for. And so, if people are watching this and they're like, I need to rent a space in this building, or I need to get involved in this somehow, how do people get in touch with you all?
Yeah. So if you are interested in finding out more information, you can go to creativehubworcester.org or find us on Facebook.
Okay.
You can also email us at creativehubworcester@gmail.com. And on our website, creativehubworcester.org, you can find all of the different artist studio spaces, their pricing, the layout, and we do have a donate button right on the front page. So if you're interested in donating to our cause, we would be very happy about that. And we are also giving private tours of the building. So if you would like a tour, you want to kind of see the space, get a feel for what it is that we're hoping to do here, send us an email and we'll be happy to set something up.
Sounds good. We have like 1 minute left, so I want to ask you, as a transplant to Worcester,
Yes.
what do you think about Worcester?
Oh my goodness. Well, I moved here because I think that the arts community is incredible. And not just visual arts, but the people who live here are sort of very different than the stigma that Worcester has in a lot of areas. I grew up in Leominster, so it tended to be one of those places that, you know, why would you go to Worcester kind of thing back in the day. And it's not like that anymore. There's so many entrepreneurs and visionaries here and people who are trying to revitalize the city into being kind of a hub for tourism destinations for people to come and work and live like it used to be. And I was really drawn to that, especially with our vision here.
Yeah, well, this is an amazing idea and an amazing building. I really hope it works out.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and thanks everybody for watching the show. If you have any questions or complaints, you can contact us at pieandcoffee@gmail.com. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.